Hello, welcome Wargamers to a very basic beginner's tutorial of the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game. Similar to the Hobbit, it's more or less the same kind of game. This is basically for Rose Allen, who is getting into wargaming. She's only age 10 and she's my niece, but we are going to go through some of the very basics of this game because she really wants to play it and it's really quite exciting. And her mum might get her a starter set for Christmas. So without further ado, let's get into some of the basics of the game. So I'll just position the camera up for you so we can see what's on the tabletop. There we are. Now we will run through a basic kind of skirmish, a small little conflict between good and evil. So on this side we have the orcs. Okay, and on this side we have warriors of Rohan and men of Gondor. And they're going to be facing off against each other. So how it works basically in the game is that there are turns. The game is divided into turns, and there is a turn sequence. That means that during the turn there are 3 phases. So there's the movement phase, there is the shoot phase, and there is the fight phase. So at the beginning of each turn, each player must roll a dice to see who goes first that turn. That is called the priority roll. So here we have some green dice and some red dice, and the red dice will be for the evil side, evil player, and the green dice will be for the good side. So each one rolls a dice to see who will get priority for this turn. Usually I think for the first turn it might be decided by the scenario, or they will say that the good side goes first for just the first turn. But we'll roll the priority dice anyway, so we can see how this works. So the good side is rolling off, and they got a 6. It's going to be hard to beat. And the evil side gets a 1, so they definitely lose priority this turn. If it is a draw, then we can roll another dice. We can either re-roll or we can roll another dice and say that on a 1 to 3 it's evil gets it, and on a 4 to 6 the good side gets it. Okay, so the next thing then is to move into the movement phase. So for that, each model or character has what's called a profile. And what that means is that they have certain characteristics. So for example, a warrior of Rohan, you see there is, they'll show you his profile for this model of Rohan, okay? And for him it says, now most foot models move 6 inches. So here we are, if it'll focus for you. It says that his movement, if you can see it there, it's a bit blurry I'm afraid. Anyway, the movement there, it says 6 inches. So you can move 6 inches. And then there are these other things. So he's got M for movement, 6 inches. The F there is for fight phase, fight value. It's having a hard time, it's struggling to focus unfortunately. But this F means the fight value, so that if it's a draw, oh there we go. If the fight is a draw, we see who has the higher fight value, and if it's even we do another roll off. So when you're fighting, each one rolls a dice, and whoever gets the highest wins, but this fight value tells you it's 3. So if it was a draw and your fight value is higher than the enemy's fight value, then you would win. So if you both rolled a 6 but your fight value is higher than his, then you would win. And then the 4 plus here, that means what he needs to roll when he's rolling to shoot. He needs to get a 4 plus to hit the target. Strength is how strong he is. So when you do inflict damage, you need to compare it to the toughness of your enemy. And so that's move, fight value, strength, and now defense. So 4. His defense is 4, and on the wound chart it will show you how tough that is. Now normally he would have a shield as well if he's a warrior of Rohan, like he does in the picture. So that would bump the defense up to 5. You see, he comes with armor and a sword or axe down there, but he doesn't come with a shield. And it's one of the options that you can get a shield for him. But that's usually at an extra points cost, because each model has a certain points cost value as well. So, and then attacks, how many dice you will roll when you are attacking. He has 1 attack, and he has 1 wound. So once wounded, he's removed as a casualty. And he has courage of 3, and we'll get on to courage maybe some other time. But let's just get into the very basics of moving, shooting, and combat, and then we will conclude this tutorial and not make it too long. Okay, so, and then the orcs profile is quite similar, so we'll just explain that as we go along. So for the movement, we're going to get our rulers here. We have a green one with nice Rohirrim horse designs on it for the good side, and then the red one with designs of the Witch King for the evil player. Okay. And so we will use our nice green ruler for the good side to make their movement. Now when they are moving, although they can move 6 inches, if they want to shoot this turn, so if you want to shoot with your archers, he has to halve his movement, so he can only go 3 inches if he also wants to shoot, because this game represents reality, so it's very realistic. If you're shooting, then it would slow down your movement. So if I was moving at the same speed as you, but I was also trying to shoot a bow, then I would be maybe slower than you are. So that means if he's shooting this turn, he must reduce his movement by half. So the archers, because they want to shoot and they are in range of the enemy, they will move only 3 inches forward. So here we go, we measure it, 1, 2, 3, and then these can follow along. And then the warriors, they will charge ahead. Now you can use certain strategy. You can keep the warriors at the same distance as the archers, so that they won't get overwhelmed in battle without the help of the archers. And now another thing we will come on to is the weapons. This fellow here, he has a spear. When it comes to the fight phase, that will mean that you can roll an extra attack by supporting the swordsman from behind, and we'll get to that in a minute. So that's their move phase. Now the orcs will do their move. So let's move these boys up to the cover of the tree, because you're allowed to use these little things here in the game as cover. And we can move these behind the stone wall, so that they are also in cover. Only moving 3 inches, so they can still shoot this turn. So they are behind the rocky wall, and these ones are out in the open. So that's the move phase complete. So remember, the turn is divided into the move, the shoot, and the fight phase. Now we are going on to the shoot phase. So we start with picking our targets, and we are going to try and shoot with 2 of these ones. We'll select 2 of our archers to shoot at the archers over the stone wall, and another one will shoot at one of the orcs behind the tree. But because the orcs are quite well defended by cover, both by the wall and by the tree, it's going to require that we do what's called in the way rolls. So first we have to roll to hit. Remember, to hit, the men will need to score a 4+. See on the fight value, 4+ to hit, and then we'll have to consult the wound chart to see if we score a wound. So let's first see if there's any hits out of these 3. First these 2 over at these ones. We roll the dice. Oh, look at that, we got 1 hit. And then this one is shooting through the tree at this one. He gets one hit. But now we have to determine whether the arrow hits the wall or hits the tree before it reaches its target, because they're in cover now. So we roll another one, and to get past the obstacle we need a 4+. That's one got through the wall, and the other one hit the tree. So the orc took cover behind the tree, but the other arrow went over and struck the orc. Now one of the orcs has been hit, so we have to go to our wound chart. Okay, wound chart. And basically it says that if the strength of your arrows, so the strength of the bow that a man uses is only strength 2, and the defense of the orc is 4, so we have to measure those up. So we have to say, well, the strength is 2 and his defense is 4. So that would mean we need a 5+ to hit. Let's see if we can make this a bit clearer with this one. So it's a bit hard to see, alright, but there's our wound chart. So you might be able to see the strength along the side. It says there, strength. So the strength 2 bow will need, to get a defense 4 person, need a 5, won't he? So we know that we've hit him because we've hit 4+, and we've got over the wall. Now we need to wound him, so we need a 5 to wound that orc and take him out of battle. Let's see what we get. Roll a dice. Oh, and it's a 3. So we did hit him, but we didn't wound. We didn't actually kill him. Now it is the orc's turn to shoot. But being fairly poor marksmen, they require a 5+ to hit. If you were an elf, you'd only need 3+ to hit, because they're very good at shooting, and their bows are more powerful, so they could have killed on a 4 instead of a 5, and hit on a 3 instead of a 4. So those are high elves. And they're also a lot more well defended, and they've got heavy armor. So these warriors would cost more to have on the battlefield. It would cost you more points. And then of course you can have riders and all sorts of other things in the game, which we won't go into just now. So the orcs are going to shoot over the wall at the archers. Let's do a tutorial for those. Okay, so we're going to fire all of our arrows at once, and let's go. Yeah, let's just aim at the front line here. Now it could be a good tactic to shoot the spears, but we're just going to shoot all our arrows at one of these men here. Front line. 5+ to hit. See what we get. Oh, well done! Look at that. 3 6s. Oh dear. So I've selected my target. He's able to see it. There's no obstacles in the way, so he can shoot directly at the enemy. So this is not too good. He's been now hit. This fellow here has been hit by 3 arrows. Let's just hope he can withstand those 3 arrows. He does have heavy armor on. He's a warrior of Minas Tirith, but for now we're just pretending that he has the same profile as a warrior of Rohan. So I'll just say that it's going to be a 5+ to bring him down. Hang on, no, we'll leave it as it is, and because the orc's strength is only 2, his bow is only 2, he will need a 6. You need to roll a 6 to actually take him down and kill him. He has heavy armor, he has a shield. His defense is 6. Remember the profile? Defense is 6. So that means it's either D. Now in the case of this Gondorian, that D there, this is actually 6 now because he's got heavy armor, which makes it 5, and then he also has a shield, which makes the defense higher again, so it'll be defense 6. And if you're trying to wound him with an arrow that is only strength 2, you will need to roll a 6 to kill him, but we have hit him 3 times, so hopefully out of one of these 3 we will get another 6 and we will kill that warrior. But all of them have failed, so the arrows, maybe they landed in his shield or something, or hit his armor and did not kill him. So in the next turn, hopefully we will get into combat, which is kind of the last phase of the turn. But remember, when the turn is over, because there's no fighting this turn, we go on to the next turn, and that always starts with priority roll. So we roll priority for the next turn. The evil side gets 2, and the good side gets 1. So the evil side have actually managed to win this time, and now we can, if we're in range, we can charge some of our units into combat. So these ones are in range of 6 inches, so they can attack. So we're moving them into combat, and if you see how we have them like this, if you have a spearman, he can go behind the swordsman and support him like that by touching base. So that counts as 2 attacks, 1 for this guy and 1 for this guy. 2 dice rolls. Okay. And then we will take the archers out here. Still only 3 inches, moving them. And they will be able to join the fight in the next turn, but they can still shoot this turn. These ones, now it is the movement of the good side, so they can decide whether to stand here and shoot at the archers, or whether to maybe send someone in to join the fight. So what we will do is we will send one of them into the fight to help with that fight, so there's now 3 against 2 instead of 2 against 2. And we will use these 2 to come a bit closer to the battle and be able to shoot at those orcs. Because you cannot shoot into combat because you will risk hitting your own men. However, the evil side are allowed to shoot into combat because they are evil and they can risk hitting their own men. So now the orcs got priority, so they are going to shoot at... let's make this interesting. We'll put 2 of them shooting into combat, and we'll make one of them shoot at the archers. So one of them shoots at the bowman, he misses, the other 2 shoot into combat, but we didn't get any hits. Okay, so now the 2 archers, it's their turn to shoot now, the good side. They will shoot at these orc archers. And we did get 1 hit, and we're going to need a 5 to kill. And we got a 6, so one of the orcs goes down to an arrow, a bowman. So he's removed from play, he's been shot down. So the evil side loses one of their men, one of their warriors. Okay, and now we are into the fight phase. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, so if you can see, perhaps from this angle it might be easier, or maybe not, but it should be clear enough that we have 3 good fellows at the back. We have to pair off the fights now because it's the fight phase. We've had the moving, we've had the shooting, now we're doing the fighting. So we have a fight phase going on here. So that is 3 on 2 and then 2 on 2. So three good guys versus 2 bad guys. So let's the bad guys got priority. Let's roll them fast. It doesn't really matter though, but they get to decide the order in which the fights worked out. So I'll stop moving the camera around and I'll just position it. There we go. So let's see how we go with this. So the first fight is this one, 2 against 3. We won't go into the rules of shielding, except that they, well, I suppose we could. I mean, the shield gives you an extra defense, so an extra point of defense. So if you're normally defense 4, your shield will make you defense 5. And it also enables you to do what's called shielding. That means you roll 2 dice when you're rolling to see who wins instead of 1, but you cannot strike if you do win. So the way the fight works is each player rolls however many dice they have. In this case, the good guys have 3 dice because they have 3 men, and the bad guys get 2 dice because they have only 2 men fighting. And the highest result wins the fight, and whoever wins gets to strike blows with as many men as they have against the enemy that they're in base contact with. So this is where it gets exciting. We're going to see some fighting, and we're going to see who wins and whether they can slay the enemy. So the evil side is going to roll its dice, and you just count the highest result, you don't add them up. The highest, unfortunately for them, was simply a 3. The other roll was a 2, so that's not looking good. They'll only win if Rohan rolls a 2 out of all these 3, if they get no higher than 2. And if they get 3, then it might be a roll-off, and the Orcs might still win. So Rohan only needs to get higher than 3 to win this fight. Off they go. And we did get a 6. So they've clearly won the fight. So what happens now is that the evil side must back off 1 inch, and they take blows. But he was only supporting, so they can't hit him. He was behind with a spear, so it's only the one in front that will take blows. So that's 3 blows against him. His defense is 5. So any 5s or 6s will kill him, because they have strength 3 when they're in combat with their swords, even though their bows are strength 2. So they roll 3 dice, but no kills, unfortunately. So that orc remains alive. And we'll do the other fight over here, which, that's the end of that fight. Now there's another fight taking place over here. So there's 2 warriors of Rohan up against these 2 bad boys here. So we're going to roll the 2 dice for the orcs, and their highest is a 5. Then we roll a dice for the two warriors of Rohan. Their highest is also a 5. So we're going to do a roll-off. On a 1 to 3, the evil side wins. On a 4 to 6, the good side wins. 1 to 2, 1 to 3, so that counts as a 2. So that means the evil side wins that one. So the good side back off, and they take blows from the bad guys. 2 attacks, and there is a 6. So fair warrior of Rohan falls. So he's moved out of play. And that is basically how the game goes until, you know, about half of the other side's models have been destroyed, and then they're onto courage, and then if you reduce them sufficiently, then they lose the game. So, camera's going all over the place. We'll fix that up in a minute. Okay. If I can get this thing to behave, it would be great. Now we won't finish the game because it'll take quite a while, but you do get the general idea. So the turn sequence is move, shoot, fight, and that's how the game goes on. And there's priority, and then there's the profiles, the wound charts, but that is basically how to play the game with simple warriors. It gets a bit more complicated when we include things like heroes, because they have special things, they're harder to kill, they have more powers, might, will and fade, and then they have magical powers, some of them like Gandalf, and then he goes into all his magical powers. And the evil side, they have magic too, they have like the Witch King and the Black Riders. But that is already, you can already have a lot of fun just with plain warriors, just evil versus good. So watch the video a few times if you're not too clued in, but that's basically a rundown of how the game basically operates. And if you're wanting more content and if you're confident, we can go on to further things as well. So basically you're basically rolling a lot of dice. You need some measuring tape or a ruler. You need models, sometimes a nice little game mat to play on, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.